That's impossible.
I feel that way sometimes.
All right.
Do you want me to pull up the
Gonna
Facebook stream?
I think they're.
go.
Oh, why?
Check my camera on too.
We're not going to be able to pay
We
attention.
are live on the Facebooks.
Then there's no point in me firing my camera up. Oh yeah, no. Oh, we'll kill the audio though. You can watch it.
Oh, Roger. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we're at 75% battery, so my phone should be able to hold up through this.
You got a cord? We have a double outlet.
Oh, yeah, I'll go grab one.
You goon.
Fair point, sir.
You goon.
I'm not a goon, I'm a goblin.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys are very silly.
Fact of the matter. I accidentally drank most of a bottle of whiskey last night, so.
Oh, so you should be prepped for today.
Yeah, I feel great. I feel just like Penzic.
Good thing I know headshots coming in.
Our house family Christmas, all on basically Zoom, but it was Discord, so there was like literally 30 people trying to talk at once.
Oh, awesome.
Good fun.
That's the way it is.
Oh, dude, it feels so good to have arm around.
You know, that's at least the best part of this whole thing is even if you hate it, at least you got your shit on and it feels like the world is normal for a second.
Yeah, the world is almost okay for a minute.
I know I was talking to Manus this morning and talking about the same thing. You know, it's like the new guy and him and stuff. They played a little bit, and a couple other people. Can you see my angle? Is it up there?
All right, two different directions.
I think a rowing waist. That would be me. I'm betting.
Well, there's two rowing waists, so
Yeah,
I
but-
need to rename one of them.
Oh, I like that video. That's a good view.
Which room is that?
The one where you can see the whole floor from the top. That's a great view.
Okay, that one's you.
That good, guys? Still good?
Yep.
Yeah, especially for the footwork and movement stuff, that'll be great. And then if we use Louis to do like direct hand-on stuff, that'll be fantastic.
So maybe the webcam, the other webcam I have, maybe it's
all right. Plug it up, close the door, and we'll kick it.
You want to
Probably about me renaming
Okay.
you.
You want to tilt it down? Farther and
Yeah.
What is your video would you like to join?
Oh, that looks really good.
Put your helmet right here. Watching you fuck up.
Fine. I promise we'll be faster about this once we do this a few times and have a setup figured out. But we're making this up as we go at the moment.
This is the trial, right? This is our practice.
So yeah, it's the first trial with Zoom. Last week was the spur of the moment. I guess we should live stream this.
all right.
Oh yeah.
We're going to add an overhead cam now. So when we do the rotational work, you guys can see it.
So yeah, people on the Facebook Live, if you're not in the Zoom, just tell us in the comments if the view is terrible or something, or ask questions, whatever. It's all good.
Like you said, even if you're in a small living room, no big deal. It's a lot of the rotational work is the same, and even in the living room, you can try to figure out back and forth on your box if you have any ladder set up.
Yeah, I will mute us so we're not making a bunch of noise for everyone.
So guys, a good way to start is just warming up wise is just you can do some flat, flat bottom, keep your full foot on the ground, squats. Just I can tell my ankle is still my ankle. And just do about 10 of these to warm up. You'll find that these are a lot harder for some people than you believe. You don't have to go all the way down, just go down to where you can. So, and then try to keep your back as straight as possible, like if you were actually, squatting something. So just do a few of these, and then we're going to change it, and we're going to do these from our toes so that we can strengthen our calves as well. Are your knees supposed to crack like this?
Yes. As long as it doesn't hurt, according to my physical therapist.
It's fine.
Snap, crackle, pop is nothing to worry about if it doesn't hurt.
Okay. So the next one is that same thing, but you're going to see I actually lift all the way up. I get all the way up on your toes at the end. And like overextend where you're actually trying to balance yourself. You should feel your toes, weight on each of the toes kind of shift back and forth. What that's doing is balancing you. A lot of people do not have this, believe it or not, and it's really something that's used a lot in throwing, shots, anytime that you're extending on your toes, you use balance. A lot of us use the ball of our foot for balance, but that balance is really pushed all the way to the toes. So this one looks the same way, but this time we can go ahead and get off our heels. So I'm going to try to stay perfectly straight up and down. You can see here, my heels are going to be off the ground. And I'm kind of on my toes. And then I'm going to go back up. And then I'm going to extend as high as I can for a second or two. Catch my balance. And then go back down. Don't worry if you fall on your side of your foot or whatever. Just don't twist an ankle. Just catch yourself as needed. And again, do it to as much as you can do this. What this is going to do is build some strength right on the ball of your foot and into those toes. It'll also help you understand those toes catching your balance more. There's a lot of interesting stuff around ninjutsu and things like that. A great video on the History Channel around that, or Discovery Channel. But the more you do this, the more you're aware of your feet. If you have really hard boot bottoms, if you're in a living room or somewhere where you can, or next time, put your tennis shoes or something that has really small profile and can bend. Again, these are just footwork exercises. This is time to try those things. I wear period shoes with rubber on the bottom, at least for tournament, not for I wear like a hiking boot that still has flex in it for melee. But this is really important, guys, for understanding how your whole foot engages with the ground from ball to heel. We will use the whole foot. I'll post up a video that talks, I think I may have already, that talks about heel or flat foot to ball foot from boxing and the benefits and the minuses of each. Both of them have benefits and minuses. The key is to be able to use both to deliver power when you want to, or to be more agile when you want to. So just be aware of that. That's what both of these really kind of dig into. All right, I think we're looking pretty good. Did you get the top down?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, give us a big thumbs up if you'd like the top down stuff.
Well, we're not showing it. We're
not showing it
this
yet. Hold
here.
on.
The Zoom people can see it, but there's the top.
There's our top down
for the Facebook Live crowd.
So we have a bunch of, and we have some software we're going to be using, so you guys can get a number of different views, possibly on the same page as we're doing stuff.
I feel like
so rotational on top down, you're going to get the chance to see some, some basic from top down, kind of that footwork. So are the crossing feet where we're here and So you will hear a fan every once in a while. That's our heater. It's really not that loud. So tell us if it's a real problem or not.
All right, so this one's better for ladder drills. Shall we?
All right, guys. Ladder drills first. We'll have Saib explain them. This is the first time through. Later on, we will post up the ladder drill video. So you guys, if you can't do them all, just do them the best you can. If you feel like you didn't get it, just do the one that you know. But we're gonna explain them, and it's not a first time thing. Even me, I still screw them up. And when we first added these, it took me a lot to learn them. All right, so everybody ready? We're gonna try the first one. Saib's gonna explain.
First one, 2-foot run. Pick a foot to start with, and you go 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way down. And then you pick the other foot, whatever you didn't do the first time, and do it coming back.
Which is much harder sometimes. So the key on this one is try to stay a little bit low into your knees. Do not get flat-footed when you do this. Stay on the balls of your feet. All these ladder drills are really looking at trying to get agility work done.
First one later. All right, next one.
Yeah.
Oh, what is the next one?
Side to side.
I'm trying to do them in my order. Lateral in, out, out. So hopefully you can see my feet. I covered up the window. There we go. All right. So you step in, out, out. Moving down the ladder. Whatever foot is in the direction you're going, step with that one first.
So just in case you can see it again, when your foot should be here, don't do this where this foot's here and you're trying to get over. So basically, you're going to be here. Make sure that foot in the front is going into the next box.
It will go left, right, left, right, left, right. You will always be stepping with the other foot next.
Yeah.
You don't have to step with the same foot twice in a row on this one. And then stay on the same side of the ladder, facing the same direction to go back the other way. And you get the other side.
And again, don't worry about speed. And try to keep the goal here in the long run is do it right, get it down, and then try to keep your head and chin up and not look down at the ladder too much. You will see we still do.
Next one on the internet, it's called the double Hickey Shuffle. We call it the 4-step. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll step in the box, out of the box. The idea is to speed it up, and then when you get here, get in a nice stance. So your weight gets all the way across. You're not like leaning here.
Bend your knees a little bit, get a little bit lower in your stance.
Don't run into the chair.
And then this one we do backwards. It's really hard backwards. Go slow the first time.
Finding that zoom for him.
One of you wants to like pull that link up while I do the
Yeah.
next one.
You pulled that link up on the.
Next we go and do hopscotch. So you jump in the box and then out. Together and out. Each box. Try to stay low, don't do a big hoppy thing, like stay down. Just move your feet in and out.
So this one's easy, guys. Just keep low. This is going to be work. Stay on the balls of your feet.
also do backwards. We try and do everything backwards if we can.
Again, backwards.
I know one Alan thought I kind of missed some of the boxes, but that's okay.
We're going to slow down for just a second. All right, so we're going to slow down for just a second and let you guys catch up. Chat. Yes. So just to let you guys know, the key on these things is actually you sit into it, you can feel is a shifting weight. This is going to come all around that same fundamental understanding of the drop step. So as you shift, as you lift, that weight lets you fall into where you're going. Doesn't matter which direction, forward, backward, side to side. We don't want to be this. Find a camera. We don't want to be this where we load up over here to shift over here. Okay? We want to be lift this foot, fall right into that step right away. Look at the difference, right? I shift here, and then I shift over. Here, shift over. So that's just the drop step. So that center of body shift is of weight is the way you handle yourself on the ladder is too. So keep in mind how your center moves you in that ladder. All right, next one.
All right, the next one on the internet has many names. It has on the internet you'll find it as skiers, you'll find it as slalom. We're gonna call it the gather step because that's the terminology we tend to use when we do this in a fight. All right, 1 foot in the box, 1 foot out of the box. Open your feet apart, and then bring them back together with the other foot in the box now. Reach out and gather step. Like you speed it up. Looks like this.
Yeah. So again, on this one, it's just a drop step. I'm going to lift this foot and put it where I want, and then the other foot follows. Lift, foot. Sometimes I point where I want to go. Whoops, the wrong way. No, see, I'm going to do it again because I'm doing it wrong. Yeah.
You're crossing over.
I'm trying to keep my feet in the right stance.
That's okay. You can keep your feet in the right stance.
I might switch it. It allows me to remember. And then backwards.
Of course, everything's gonna go backwards. Yeah, sit down into it. Stick your butt out. By the way, people in the Zoom meeting, you can like unmute and ask questions that way if you want.
Or if you want us to slow down, just let us know. The other way.
Right foot.
I mean, we hadn't been doing that.
Been doing it for the last.
No, not for these. We did
No, I
that
said
for
the other
last
one.
Next one on the internet is known as the Hickey Shuffle. We call it the 3-step. 1, 2, 3. Stop. Next box. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You always end up with a foot in the box. Before step we came here, we're not doing that this time. We're just going right to the next one.
So whatever foot's in the box stays in the box. So just beware. So if that foot's in the box, as I move, whatever foot's in the box stays in the box. Right. That's me though, I think.
Then when you start your next set, you just move that foot forward 1 box.
I'm sorry, we didn't realize we were muted.
Then when you start your next set, you just move that foot forward 1 box.
I'm sorry, we didn't realize we were muted.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're gonna do them all. So we're gonna move and do all of them. We're not gonna start at the end of the box like we normally do. We'll move all the way back up so you guys can see the start every time. Yeah.
All right, crossover. Oh yeah.
We gotta.
Hold on,
So we gotta do this one backwards.
So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I can remember things. Yay. Next up, reverse crossover or cross behind, whichever you want to call it. It's very similar to the one we just did. It is another 3-step. You're
Hold on.
going to go 1, and then that second step is going to cross behind as you step out. So 1, 2, 3.
That first step, keep it close to the line on your side.
It's actually easier once you speak up.
So like Saib said, I usually put a foot on the line, the top part of the line, and I skip back, and then I take that back foot that's still in the box, put it on top of the next line. Try to return to your stance each time.
And this one, there's not really a good way to do backwards. Louis kind of sort of does. I just do it again forward.
Yeah. Well, watch Louis. He'll do it backwards. Oh,
Because like, you want to do it backwards, watch Louis in a second.
do we do this one switch foot later or no?
No. Already better.
That's right.
We just go down and back. Louis does backwards. He's a crazy man. So next we're going to do that gather step again, but this time it's the extra wide version. So you never actually step in the ladder. You start on one side, get in your stance, jump all the way to the other side. Get back in your stance. No matter which way you're jumping, try to land in your proper stance. You'll find one way it's easier than the other.
So again, just like you said, this is that drop step that we keep talking about. I'm just gonna essentially drop my foot into where I want it by lifting it up and shifting my hip that way.
Saib, Louis, Branos, me and Adam here are still kind of confused on that.
On this one,
On that, that step in, bring out, step in,
the
but one foot's always in the
last
ladder.
They need the last one redone?
Yes,
I
yes,
can't
please.
really hear you guys.
Yes. Okay. So
Yes, okay, hold on.
So
Last one backwards or forward?
forwards or backwards?
Forward.
Forwards, please.
Forward. Okay. So the foot comes forward on the line. So put it at the tip of the toes on maybe the next rung. You bend your knees and your hips go down a little bit lower. Don't be way up high. So bend down a little bit. The back foot crosses behind.
And then stays.
And you step out of the box. That foot comes forward. The back foot crosses behind. You step out of the box. Foot forward, cross behind, out of the box, foot forward, cross behind.
Okay, so they're
box,
pushing foot up every
forward,
rung.
cross behind, out of the box. So then it gets smoother.
Does this help? Later
Yeah.
on, later on, this actually becomes kind of a sliding step where the feet almost don't actually cross. If this foot comes here, it's almost like a quick gathering step in your left.
Yeah,
Was fucking.
Yeah.
and then they're
Cross,
even,
and then you're going.
Right.
And that's all based on how much you can get that swing step. But again, do it slow first, do it right, and then later when you have better control of your body, you push these every time. You guys want to push these to be better and better. Next one.
So we did that extra wide gather step. Now we're going to do it backwards. Because of course we are. It's an important one not to stick your butt out.
No, we haven't done it.
Forwards.
I did the forward. I thought we all did.
No.
Never mind. Apparently, I'm the only one that did this forward.
Wait. You did that one. No. That's the normal.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, you haven't done that one? Okay.
We started.
Go ahead. Yeah, you were helping.
We'll do it again.
Louis is just doing the gathering step again. He didn't get a chance.
Extra ladder drills are good.
These are really good. These are really fundamental to what most people do in the SCA. This is all just a standard gathering step. So this is a really good one to have and be comfortable with. The difference between a gather and a swing step, where you swing your foot across it, is distance. So you get more distance in a swing step, but it's easier to see early on. So now Saib is doing the same thing backwards. So now you're shifting, go ahead, Louis. Now you're shifting your hip into a back corner instead of in a front 45. So now he's going to the back 45. And don't worry about the ladder too much. You don't have to hit these steps perfectly.
Yeah.
Now,
So now we're gonna do the same thing, but you're gonna switch and put the opposite foot forward. So for me, that's my right foot, and it's a real weird feeling. We're gonna do it all again.
so this one actually gets a little tough because we're not used to being, go ahead, Louis. We're not used to having our other foot forward, but it's very good because in a fight, later on, when you get better and more comfortable with this, you can switch your feet in a fight any way you want.
Now we're gonna get that same 20-foot stance, and we're gonna do it backwards. Because again, of course we are.
This one I'm actually having a harder time with, believe it or not. The weight shift is different for strength, so I don't get as far.
What you notice when you go try and stay with the same foot forward all the time, one direction is going to be a really long reach and the other direction is a very short reach. You're keeping your stance the same.
Next up, jab step. I'm moving to my left down the ladder, so I'm gonna lead with my left foot. Jump in and out. Both feet are moving.
Try not to turn your front foot in when you do this. So in other words, I'm going to show you here. On that jab step, here's my front foot on this side right here. A lot of times people will push this hip and then turn it in, so I rotate my body. This is bad. Whatever way you normally point your foot should be the same way it ends back at the end. So not trying to change your style. Whatever way you end up in your feet with the perfect form is the same way you want in each of these applications as much as possible.
It's just an even distributive weight, right? That's what we're trying to accomplish.
Yes.
Even distribution.
Both on the forward and the backward part of the jump. A lot of people will have a tendency to basically just stick that front foot out. Go, without really moving your body forward, doing the whole thing.
Yeah, you want back and forth.
We want your center to move the same as your feet. So your whole body should be translating. You shouldn't be reaching with anything. And both feet leave at the same time, land at the same time.
Exactly. I posted a video on SCA Coach's Corner today on this one and how it's used. This one is used a lot as a jab step or a feint to bring your opponent's energy up so that you pop back and then you can throw a shot. So it breaks timing and other things. But take a look at the SCA Coach's Corner feet feints.
And of course, do the other side. So now I've got my right foot forward and I'm moving to my right down the ladder. Next similar concept, we're gonna do switch feet. So that is, I start with
one foot in the ladder and one foot out, and I switch them. Then I move to the next box and do the same thing.
So in this, your body's moving on a straight line all the way down the ladder.
And because we must please the symmetry gods, we do the other side.
There's a lot of examples of this in boxing as well. Switching feet will change ranges with your dominant arm for throwing. So it gives you, shortens that range quite a bit. I was wondering what it's used for. It's actually very useful in SCA fighting after practicing it. So.
Hey, Branos, thanks for sharing that. That is awesome.
Good.
Next one's a rotational drill. Line up at the end of your ladder, facing it from the side. Get in your stance. For me, that's left foot forward. I'm going to use my right foot this time, so that's my back foot. I'm going to step into the box, pointing down the ladder at my imaginary opponent who's standing in the next box. Then I'm going to flip around and get back into my stance on the other side. And then you're just going to repeat that back and forth all the way down. So step with the right foot, get back in the stance.
The key is turn your foot 90 degrees when you step to the rung, so you're already halfway turned before you're crossing the ladder.
Job of, and that is actually turning your feet to the direction for rotational direction around your opponents. So we're going to spend a lot more time on rotational movement later, but this is the beginning of that rotational movement.
We're going to line up into the box, facing my imaginary opponent in this next box here. And then flip around into my stance. So I still end in a left foot forward stance every time.
I define your advantage in every one of these, even if you have to do it slower. All right, hold on. We're going to check and see if anybody needs help.
Because like I see people still moving, so we'll hold off for a second. That's fine. We want people to.
We're good.
And as you get more advanced, you can stay a little bit more on the balls of your feet and try to work on your balance.
All right.
Fox and Dan are working it over there.
Okay. Yeah,
Good job, Bill.
Thanks.
Nice job. We're letting Fox help Dan a little bit. He's Dan, you want to do it again?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes, please.
Okay, do it. So go ahead, Side. Go ahead, do it again. So which one? The whole, both of them, or just the first one, or just that's the second one?
Second one, please.
Okay. So front foot.
All right, so front foot, pointing down, flip around. Big thing is you have to remember, because you're stepping out of the ladder with your back foot, it's got to be a bigger step, and then you just kind of pull the front foot in. So I step
Watch
way
nice and
back
slow.
here, and then I just flip here.
If it helps you and you have a flat ladder in your garage, I step on the rung. Looks like they got a real ladder. We're just, nice job, Adam.
Yep.
All right. No, I don't know.
I'm just letting Eighth of Stand finish this up.
Okay.
All right, Eighth of Stand. Nice job.
Switch stance or funny foot forward. For me, that's right foot forward. We're gonna do it all again. So I'm gonna start with my back foot, step in the ladder, spin around. Back foot, and I'm gonna land in the wrong stance like I did there.
Yeah.
So this is that. Back foot, right foot
Back, yeah.
forward.
So this is a hard one, guys. I want you to take your time getting this right, because I do the same problem. We have just started these about 2 weeks ago, and Louis will do it again. Louis is pretty good because he's ambidextrous. But the key is when you step with your back foot, make sure you pull that back foot. He's doing his front foot right now. There you go. Now, you know, earlier you didn't pull it all the way back. Yeah. So remember, do it nice and slow because, again, this back foot comes up, goes in the box, comes out and back. Up, turn, back. So do it nice and slow until you can pick up speed.
Fall back into your normal stance. Then we'll go back to our funny foot stance, and you'll start with the front foot. But I'm gonna wait a second because I still see people go back and forth. I'm trying to be better about paying attention. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. Yeah, we're going to let you guys finish those up. Make sure you got them. Don't worry. Remember, guys, don't worry about failing, all right? Because I'm going to tell you, failing is where you learn, okay? So figuring out stuff, the more you have to figure out something, the more you understand it later.
Makes me dizzy.
Go back to that funny foot stance, and now we're gonna start with our front foot in the box and pull it back around.
This is the one I fail on all the time.
This one for me is my funny foot step with back foot. It feels weird to go like in my right foot forward.
You have to think about that one way too much.
Huh?
You have to think about that one way too much.
Yes, you do. Isn't it awesome?
I've like stopped myself twice already.
Yeah, the good part about having to think about these is it means that you aren't comfortable with it. And that's part of the agility cycle that we're working on. Right? So we're just catching up on a couple of people's posts. We'll be right on to the next one in a minute. I'm going to do that front foot one again just because I'm always weak on it. My balance is poor.
Is there more ladder drills after this, or are we moving on from the ladder?
Oh yeah, we're not done.
There's a couple more. more.
All right, we're gonna tape it down then.
Yeah, we missed a bunch of comments because our page was frozen. So
Sorry for those guys on Facebook. We missed a bunch just because our page was frozen. We're still got ladder drills.
Ladder drills.
giving me a mute option. You were hearing yourself again. All right, next one.
And calling this one the TikTok because we found it on TikTok. 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and the one that's out is actually forward. So I'm facing my opponent here, and I'm going to cross in front and turn so that I'm again pointed with the outside foot forward.
Oh, shit.
Hey, sorry, can you show that one again?
Yeah, it is not an easy drill. We're definitely going to do it again. We just added this one to our stuff about 2 weeks ago as well.
Yeah, it's that step across that was throwing us off.
Yeah.
So it's
Tutorial again. 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I turn at a diagonal. And then basically the goal is to flip that diagonal the other way into the next box. Doing that, we're just crossing this one in front and swinging around. This is again with that priming the foot. Go ahead and turn it in the direction it needs to end up when you step it. If you step this way and then try and pivot, it doesn't work. So prime it the right way, step over.
And the idea is to change that 45. Here, stand right here. So if I'm already over here doing something, then I can essentially, oh, here we go. I can essentially go. Except in that case, I had to use the back step, which is actually something else we're going to practice in a minute.
Like in place instead of crossing, you just sort of hit the
Yeah. So if I'm fighting her, here I am. He's going to either corner.
Now I have all this.
Yeah.
I come over here. And I can jump over here.
But as I turn here, then she's going back this way, and then I turn.
As opposed to just going straight sideways where I'm taking myself away. What this is doing is getting that turn in. So all of this is available now.
Right, that throwing arm is much deeper on the backside. We're going to show you a different step next that is usable as well. It just, you have to understand your range and when to use it. But first, he's going to make us do this backwards, aren't you?
Harder. Kind of end up with this awkward cross behind and turn.
So when you go forward, you cross in front. When you go backwards, you cross behind. And this is actually a modification if you're familiar with a diamond step or a compass step. But we're using crossing feet instead of non-crossing feet.
How about just show them just the drop step into those? So in other words, here we are. Diamond step or diamond step or a compass step.
Oh. So.
But here is the actual diamond step or compass step that is in Hemba.
Start with that same angle, but instead of pushing across, step out. As we did with all of our other gather steps, you open and gather. Previously we were going straight side to side. Now we're doing angle.
idea is still to rotate around your opponent.
You really can feel when you're not doing the drop step here, if you're not falling into that front foot.
I have no idea how to do this backwards.
Don't worry about it. We're only going to do that one forward. You can do it backwards, though. We'll add that next week, maybe. Louis trying now because he wants to see it. But really, it's just a drop and gather step. It's totally doable.
Next one is another in and out version. You're gonna step on the side of the box. 1, 2, and then in the box. 3, 4. You lead with the same foot every time.
Same foot every time, yep.
So I started with this is my left, so it goes left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Go fast, stay flat.
And your body center should try to stay in a straight line the whole time.
Nice job. Now we're going to do it with the other foot back. In other words, if you led with your left foot last time, you're going to lead with your right foot this time. Not so easy. Is that a little harder?
Yeah.
Definitely harder.
Oh, boy.
It's harder
That was actually the best time I've ever done it.
because we do it backwards now.
I know it's a long lunge step. And backwards, yep.
Right, so now of course, like everything else, we're gonna do these backwards. I start with my left foot again. Left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Again, I don't look down, so I might miss some boxes.
And we're not worried about that.
Holy shit.
When we really work on the staying upright.
This is balance, guys. This is where we're learning to actually use your center, right? This is where we're standing because we're using our balance to go backwards on these. We're not using our feet to drive us backwards. We're actually dropping our butt into that position so you fall backwards.
Over. Really easy to balance, but it's real hard to move backwards. This way, and you're literally just sitting backwards. Back stays upright the whole time.
So is that the other foot?
And yes, to do this a little bit more advanced, try to stay on the balls of the feet.
After this on the ladder. I know. I'm like, hey, I'm learning something.
Check, we got people still running around.
That's okay. We're just letting a few people finish up their running around. Because these aren't always the easiest things in the world. Does he have Rebecca doing those too?
Some of you have 2 people there, so.
All right. Are you doing those too, Rebecca? Awesome.
So, last one. So line up in your stance. I don't really have room behind me, so I'm going to start on the next rung of the ladder. This one, you're going to do your lovely jab, step, lunge thing forward 2 rungs. Then you jump back 1.
So in box boxing, this is the quick lunge step that allows you to deliver a jab and then get back out of the jab. All right, guys, we're going to lead with our good foot first, and then we'll switch these up again after. We'll use this a lot later. Again, you're going to do this one really slow first. Take the long lunge, catch yourself, and then just one step back. Long lunge, hold, catch yourself, one step back. And remember, don't bring your feet together. It should be still in your stance, whatever your fighting stance is.
On one side, go back, your other foot forward, do it again. Don't turn sideways this way.
Yep. Yeah, remember, guys, don't turn your toes in unless that's your normal stance. I don't care.
That is all of the ladder.
And the good news, that is it for the ladder drills for now. We are so the next piece of this, again, on these ladder drills, we're gonna prime up for the next thing we're gonna do. We're gonna give everybody get some water. Next thing we're gonna do is some rotational footwork drills. And we'll go through the layers of those footwork drills. Unless you've done these before, I would suggest you start nose, sword, and shield. We're just gonna keep your hands up because we're gonna concentrate on feet. Louis will do it with sword and shield, and then we'll show you with sword and shield striking. But that's, again, those are the layers. So I said, again, at first, unless you've done this, no sword and shield. But we will walk through those. The key on the ladder drills is keep working hard. You can work on speed, because that gets that speed reflex in your feet working, and balance. So the better balance you have, the longer these, like a gather step. At first, when you're not sure, this gather step may be relatively small. So that gather step could literally look this way. Oops, sorry. You know, this is my big gather step. That's fine. But as you get comfortable, you're going to hold those feet. And I'm like, okay, not going to reach. You get a little bit of push off on, as this is falling, I literally push off the side of this foot to get more distance. But I have to keep my back nice and straight. I don't want this. Oh, I run over and lean over, because then I leave everything else over here. Defense is not the same. Offense isn't the same. No, as you get better, faster, your center needs to really work on that center, keeping centered and using your center to move. And the last piece is keep that back nice and straight. Watch your orientation of your feet. All right, everybody, get some water. We're going to answer a few more questions. You can see our bob is out. If you don't have a bob, put your Pel. If you don't have a Pel and you're doing it in your living room, put a bucket or something on the floor that you can actually rotate around.
Oh, you're being so slow. Oh, I'm having trouble with the window keeps freezing up. One person.
Okay.
It might be us.
It probably is us.
Oh, well.
That's fine. We had a lot of people last week because it was new.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of people joining us. That's the good part.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to show the rotational drills from this view or from the overhead view?
Let's shoot this. Let me see, how does this look at this view first? And then we'll do it over, like we'll flip back and forth.
Okay. Alright guys, technically for our friends on Zoom, you can pick whatever view you want. You don't have to go with the spotlighted view, but if we end up with a Facebook audience, they get what I show them.
Yeah, that's fine. I would go with the overhead. So let's go ahead, because they can pick my view if they want it that way. Oh, I guess your view is the overhead view, right?
We can show it from both.
Yeah.
We'll just swap back and forth. So, first thing.
First thing. Let's wait until everybody looks like they're set. Hey, everybody, let us know when you're set, ready for this next one. I know a few people are working in their garage and need to lift up their ladders and do a few other things. So just let us know when you're ready to go.
I'm all set.
We're good.
Who was that?
Will's good.
All right.
Seafried's good.
Derek's good.
Cool.
Adam's good.
While we're waiting, another thing that you can practice is this move right here, and that is essentially this is a center drill. We use this center drill.
We're good. We are good.
You're good. So we use the center drill here to actually keep our feet where they are. You notice I raise on my toes here, and then I shift back almost on my heels here, and I'm just shifting my upper body back and forth. And as you get comfortable with this, and your knee is comfortable with this, shift until you can feel your front toes engage and keep you balanced. And then back again. Kind of the rocker motion. Again, what this is doing is building some strength in those toes. And the farther you reach here, the farther you can essentially lunge forward. You're going to see this a little bit reused in a little bit later. We'll be doing this on after rotational drills. Again, we do that to create more range. All right, we're going to go ahead and start rotational drills. So the first rotational drill is just going to be the drop step or the gathering step, where essentially you drop into that outside foot or the right foot in her case, and then you follow it with a gathering step with the other foot. The key is, watch her. She's going to do it again. And then she goes the other way. But she turns that foot. You notice how she's turning that foot to point towards your opponent? We're going to show you what happened. If you got the overhead view here, look what happens if she doesn't turn her foot. See how she's not in line with her opponent anymore? So this is why you have to turn your foot when you're engaging your opponent and you're rotating around them. Yeah, and as you do these, so like for me, it takes, I think, 6 turns around to get around the Pell. As we show you the other 2 that we're going to add on to this, the next one usually takes 5, and the next one usually takes around 4, I believe is. But for now, just do it right, and then add some distance. For me, the gathering step is fundamental to everything I do, so that my gathering step tends to be relatively large.
I've
Figure out how to show both at once.
I've never been more motivated to clean my garage.
Don't be fooled.
Yeah, next
What you
week.
don't see off camera is all of the mess that we just jammed off to the side.
Yeah, I'm running into it as I go around.
Oh, you know,
All right, our next one. So this, instead of a gathering foot, this is going to be that swing foot. You can see she takes her single cross.
It's already in front, cross it in front. Looking the other way, it's already behind. Let it cross behind. Don't try and over.
So again, go ahead and do these slow. As you get better at these, believe it or not, that swing step actually creates momentum and you can get longer distances. But first time, try to keep your body nice and straight up and down. and just go around the pal. Yeah, down at the bottom. I know that'd be cool. That was the single swing step. Let's see, everybody. How's everybody pretty good with those? Looks like it. Got one person still working on some of them around one. Hold on. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of what Lomachenko does and some of the stuff he does to get great distances around an opponent. This is probably some of the greatest distance you can get on a swing step. The trick, though, is you're giving it away with a first step. So you're going to do a normal step, a gathering step, and then a swing step. And she'll show you.
Take that step as if we were going to do the gathering step, but you then add that cross behind. All right. A step, and back to step. Step, back to step.
So on this one, try not to take your first step that you take, that gathering step. Don't take it too long. Take about a 6-inch step when you first start this, and then a good swing step, okay? And then a 6-inch step, a good swing step. So you can see her doing it again. And then we'll show you the other way around after you guys are done. Go ahead. Take your time. A step, 6-inch step, make sure your toes are pointed, and then a swing step. So they're just putting two things together. We're putting our two pieces together from the first ones we did.
Put your hands on your hips and your finger forward. Try to keep pointing toward the center of your opponent as you go around them, so that you're not rotating your body sideways, stepping, and then straightening back up.
Yeah, you can see side with her. Oh, there you go, with her hands. Kind of showing how the pointing. There you go.
Resist the urge.
Go ahead, Louis.
To lean way forward.
Yeah, we're gonna do the other side after. We're gonna go ahead, and Louis is gonna go ahead and do this one too. This is it's a relatively complex step. The next one gets a little harder, so I'm gonna let him do his, and then I'm gonna do mine, and then we're gonna do the other way around, where there's a slight change in it.
So something we didn't point out also, when you take your first step, if I take my first step right on the line, when I cross my feet, my foot that's going to become my front foot.
Except you're going the wrong way. We're only doing this way.
We're only going left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna show the other.
Go the easy direction first.
Yeah.
So
Gather step.
same thing if I do the first step on the line.
Yeah.
And I cross and reset my stance. Okay. Then this works out good.
Yeah. I do mine on the line there. Okay. We'll show him the other way on the other one.
This is the easy side. So the foot that's in front stays in front. The one that's in back stays in back. The other direction gets weird.
All right, we're going to show you the other direction next here. We're going to take it and we're going to do it slow like this one. Again, guys, this is probably the most complex one. So next week it'll be easier, and we'll be adding sword and shield in next week as well.
For the other direction, because that first step is with my right foot, I step it forward onto the line, and then clears the path for this one to cross behind, and then open back up. So your range gets a little wonky.
Yeah, you can step a little bit. Yeah, you can step a little deeper past the line when you do this one.
Behind.
Oh, shit.
upright and give you all kind
And
of
pointing
weird
at your opponent
Yeah,
for
you
the
keep
warm-up.
your, the step behind will keep your hips toward your opponent.
How big is the circle around?
Ours is about 5.5 or 6 feet. We originally just took a sword. That's a good length for us is like 33, and then we just spun it around and held some chalk on the ground at the same time.
Okay, thanks.
So yeah, this time around we increased it a little bit. So we are yeah, so a little bit over 6 foot right now.
Nerds. Yay.
And I'll just show a quick demonstration. Your first step on the line, you end up off the line when you're done. So we just cheat it by crossing over the line a little bit, and then we end up back on the line again.
So the way we've been doing these is we run through them just like this, and then we run through them again, holding our sword and shield, trying to keep them in place. And then we run through them again, throwing a shot on each one. But I think Brenna said we're just going to do this for today.
Trying to add a little bit more.
So just do a couple rounds trying to get them all.
The idea here is to sort of create a set of things to do, and then challenge yourself to become comfortable with those over time. And then what we can work on is as you get better with this and you go around the circle, you can try to keep your movement smoother and less jumpy. Try to keep your center line more smooth instead of sort of hopping between spots. Then you can also work on trying to stay on the balls of your feet as well. Not basically heel almost touching, but not a lot of pressure on the back side. Most of the weight should be on the front side of your feet. Those are some things that you can challenge yourself to improve your performance too as you get better. Can't do it all at one time though.
So, next thing we've been doing is practicing that jumping back and forth. Using these different steps. So, hold your sword and shield if you want, or practice just like this to get the feet. Practice that quick back and forth, starting with just that basic gather step. Practice around your opponent.
And then you can do like say 10 of these back and forth. Then if you want, you can switch your stance after, and you can do the other way. What that'll help with is learning to push off that weaker foot. Gather step. So that this is just working into the corners of your opponent. And right now he's just doing a large diamond step or a large compass step. Well, that's the one you were just doing because you're kind of rotating on 45. She was side was just doing straight side to side gather step. Yeah, exactly. left toes on the line every time. And yeah, landing in stance every time.
When you end up with your sword foot forward, it allows you for a deeper hook on the wrap. Where if you land even up, it allows you for a little bit better defense with your shield because you don't have quite as much rotation.
Peace.
I really like those forward comment. It seems such a small thing, but I can see how it makes a difference.
It does, doesn't it? This adds a whole nother complex subject I'll bring up later, and it's actually even complex for me because it's worrying me.
But I just think about fights I've had in the past, and I moved well. Why didn't my shot land? And it's probably because of my foot place.
Yep.
Yeah.
So many details.
That turning the toe in when you're moving really helps keep you aligned to your opponent.
So everybody do those, and then we'll add the swing step on this. Or the inside, yeah. There you go.
Right now, Saif is doing the TikTok or the cross compass step or the cross diamond step. Not crossing because you're moving faster. So.
Again, try to do about 10 of those guys so that you know what your goal is, okay? So 10 of them. Start falling into your pill, it's because your balance is forward. Remember, guys, working hard. This is where we get the chance to work stuff hard. That's what flight practice is about.
I'm sweating. I don't know about you guys.
I don't think that last shot was legal there.
No, but my arms are still out of commission, so that's all I've got. I haven't properly thrown a sword in 6 months, and I'm real punchy.
So, like Slide said earlier, in this TikTok step, now we're almost heel to heel, because if we go forward, what happens is we tend to inch towards our opponent.
If you actually cross your feet over,
Here it's like we start bringing these together, and then they move.
They're like right over your feet.
The part is Louis going to bring a foot cam up.
Louis adding even more cameras.
So that we can see what cameras will help you guys. How's everybody doing on that TikTok?
I don't know. Let's
Remember
ask.
10 times? You guys good on that TikTok yet? All right. All right. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, and Dan's working on that triangle drop step. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Awesome.
That's better.
Trying to see what it looks like. How's that foot cam look? A little farther and you can get the whole circle. Yeah.
There we go. You now get the up close foot camera view. Looks pretty good. That's usually a pretty good camera view. No, not Skycom.
We
I
could
could
sell this for
sell. Yay.
$19.90.
Forward foot, back, right?
Oh yeah, that one.
Okay.
Single cross.
So now we're going to do the single cross just like we did on the ladder, but on Bob. Again, into the 45s as much as possible.
We have our extra on here, so we kind of see where the 45s are. You might not make it all the way line to line, but it gives you an idea. So, I'm in my stance, and we're just doing that cross over here. We did it in a circle all the way around before. Now we're just doing it back and forth. Front foot's in front, back foot's in back. Just let them stay that way. Cross it naturally. Put that side towards your opponent, so you're facing him when you get there.
Trying to. That's a view from Bill to
Goal of the circle is to keep it consistent range with your opponent, which is what we're not doing. But that's okay.
Bill, you better do these good because you're the one on Facebook.
Great.
It was showing the right thing before. I don't know why it changed.
Yeah, it was.
But that's also a delay, so.
Yeah. And Ron Golder said it was the top. Bill got to be the #1 stuntman on Facebook for a while.
Or you just click over there.
Where are we at now, Branos?
All right, so it looks like everybody's done. We're going to show the next step is did everybody do the one that Saib just showed everybody? So I'm going to do this one. After this, what do we got, guys? You know?
No, we're too busy fighting with Zoom.
Okay.
Like after that was usually we shove it forward and
Yep.
start doing all the big fall-ins.
So we'll do those next. So the next one we're gonna move the bell and we'll show you what we're gonna do now next. So in the next one we're gonna do a lot of fall-in stuff for essentially creating some range and learning how to fall in. Later we'll be doing sword and shield and then again strikes and then changing which way you fall off to instead of standing directly in front of your pelt. So as you see, in one of the views, you probably want to. The top view will still show this. We create some distance here, and then we're going to do a couple fall-ins, and we'll show you each one. We'll fall in. We're going to do that long jab step first, which is essentially jab, back, and then reset. Jab, back, and reset. And again, 10 of those. I'm going to explain it again, just.
I am? Oh.
And she's also going to tell everybody not to turn that front foot in,
Yeah.
including her.
Watch me, because I end up this way a lot. It's super cool, and you should never do that. What I found for me actually was the real driver of the problem was my back foot wants to turn sideways so that I can push off of it that way. And that naturally leads to this one. So if instead of thinking about my front foot, I think about keeping my back foot straight, my front foot naturally sort of ends up correct. That's what I found for me.
And the reason why you want that same stance is, again, if you're throwing a sword, the normal way you throw a sword, then if you turn your feet, you can't do that anymore. Your shoulder's behind you and you lose range.
This don't work.
So watch your feet. Sai had a great suggestion. Watch your back foot. That really kind of dictates where your front foot goes.
Focus on this one. This one stays turned out.
Right? 10 of them. Later, we'll be practicing this with strikes. First, we'll do it this way. We want people to get comfortable, and then we'll practice it with strikes later.
Balance, what? I don't need that.
My suggestion is if you guys are participating, you can do this with a rattan sword, but I would suggest when we go to using sword and shield that at the first time, Bocker is all you need to practice the things we're doing. Louis recouping a calf, so he's staying away from these long lunge drills. Well, guess what we're going to do next?
He's playing tech sport now. Yay!
We get to do the other foot. Again, make sure you understand that when you're lunging, the fastest way to your opponent is a straight line. So your head should be straight. Even going down a little bit isn't bad. If you pop your head up to do this and jump in, then your angle turns into this angle, or an angle that goes up and then down, and you're losing range. As you get better and better at this, you can mark the floor, and you can actually start stepping back like 2 inches at a time. And when you're actually striking, you'll be able to see where your real range is. So it's bang, bang. So now I'm going to stretch it a little farther, 4 inches, bang. And I can start trying to get deeper lunges.
Your ladder conveniently doubles as a length marker here, and if yours is a real physical ladder, instead of one drawn on the ground, just go next to it so you don't trip on it. But you can still use it as a length monitor.
Yep.
The other side.
So, yep, other side. Adam.
hate seeing video of myself.
Uh-huh.
Ugh.
Yes or not? With us, I thought we
Including
were-
us, yes. We are watching it.
two guys. Great. Probably had one already there. Yeah. All right, so the next one is that same thing. Regular stance, lunge foot, and now we're gonna fall off to either direction. The first time we're gonna do it is we're gonna do lunge foot, bang here. All I'm gonna do is shift my balance into this 45. Again, I can just point at the floor where I wanna go. My hip goes there, and then I'm around my opponent. So we're gonna do that 10 times. So here it goes, a little faster. Here I am. Hey! So your foot can touch the ground. It doesn't have to touch the ground. Just remember, later, keep those hands up like you're gonna actually throw a shot, and then shift. Oh, is it still screwing up? Facebook?
We like talk to Vesper and find out how she does it.
It was working, Zoom quit on it.
Oh, is that what
And
happened?
Zoom's now the last one that he picked,
Oh, okay.
so. If we do it through the other software, it'll always work.
Nice. It looks faster on video.
Because I'm so fast. Lightning. Gotta be fast since I'm not big. Gotta be at least one of those things. Or sneaky. I guess sneaky works too.
Okay. All right, so the next one is going to be falling off to the other direction. Or if you want, well, you know what? We're gonna not switch foot on this. We're gonna just go ahead. Good stance, whatever forward foot, backward foot you want. Jab, and instead of going to your sword side, you're gonna go to your shield side or their sword side. So here I am here. Now you can either do a swing step into the back. In other words, here I am. I'm way forward here. I land, and this foot goes. And again, remember, look where my toe is pointing back towards my opponent. And there I am again, right here on my opponent. The other way, which I have trouble with, is you can land, gather your center, and then do a gathering step. So you may find one more comfortable than the other. Either of them work. Just remember the gather step won't get you quite as much distance around your opponent where the swing step does. But I would suggest doing the one that you feel the best about, and then later trying to do the other so you can do actually both depending on the situation you're in.
Landing both at the same time. No.
Am I?
Yeah. That was more back to normal.
Yeah.
But when you want to do the cross step, you land with both feet at the exact same time so that you can pick that one up and launch it. That's funny.
Yeah, I can hear my feet land different.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the same, sometimes.
Which, I mean, it works. There's a right versus wrong on that. It's just an observation. Trying to be more observant.
Are you?
Which one will I do today? Yeah, slow it down for that one.
Because you do the gathering stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I gather, step, leap, hop real good, and then this one makes my brain melt.
There you go.
I want so badly to transfer weight onto it, and I can't in this one. I just sort of cheat the whole thing.
Yeah, I totally crashed doing it the opposite way.
Yeah, so she's trying it a little bit both ways.
Yeah, the one that works better for me is this one.
She tends to do the gathering step, so and then
I really like to land and then
push off.
that same foot.
Well, no, I instead of going off my left foot forward, I put my right foot forward,
Oh, did
and
you?
then I crashed.
Yes, that does happen.
Yes.
We'll practice this off foot too, because again, that's what we try to do. So, yeah. As I said, it's because we're trying to fill a good 2-3 hours of no fighting with a lot of drills.
God damn it, when we go back to fighting, we will not be starting from zero. At least.
So again, this is the other foot now. I'm going to fall to the right. But jump, I tend to swing foot this one. Like you don't have to, it's whatever's comfortable. Like you see side does it one way, I do it the other way. Bang, bang. That's the way she does it with the other foot. Actually, that wasn't even a good gather foot. So you here and push. So you can practice both, that'd be even better. I should do it, but me, I tend to bang and then kick around it. Yes, I am. So guys, the other foot now. 20 foot. Same thing, break on right and left. 10 on each side. Switch again.
Back to working properly.
And there's some questions of, when we say swing foot, are we talking cross foot? Cross step?
Yeah.
Because a swing step adds a little more rotation by letting the heel up a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
And lets lets your feet rotate your body. Whereas in a cross step, you can actually collapse your front knee a little bit, just let it give a little bit, and you can keep your hips pointing very straight forward the whole time.
Right.
It's
So
like the fundamental idea is the same, that you're crossing your feet, but yeah, the swing step implies that you've added some momentum as you swing it around. So the finer details are different.
yeah. So yeah, if you're looking as I jab foot here, I can essentially just take a smaller step. Don't swing it, but just cross and change. That's good. Here's my jab step again. I jab step. This time I literally kick or swing this foot behind the other really hard. And now it's almost momentum.
Anything that we're doing rotationally around an opponent with a cross step, you could drive it harder with a swing step to make your body turn more. You just have to be careful. If you overturn, then you're going to end up rotating more than you want to. But you can interchange those for all that rotational movement around your opponent with where there's a cross step. That's a behind cross step.
This we're gonna have this one we're gonna do the fall in step. This is the one that I normally do to essentially close range and throw very fast, where people, that teleportation thing people talk about. And we'll add these same fall offs to that step. In this step, we're going to talk a lot about distance. This is actually probably the longest distance.
Hey, babe, can you use some water?
After this, I'll show you that step.
Just fill up that picture and just bring it down.
Besides loving doing these funny foot ones.
Thanks.
Well, 20 foot with the cross step.
Oh, is that the? Oh, you're doing the cross step one.
I mean, the normal one wasn't good.
Okay. Yeah, you got more of a straight angle on that. Yeah.
I don't go around on this one for some reason. I go high and then I go right through his elbow.
Like you're trying to reach. But if you have.
I just ran out of water. I'm going up and down.
Yep. Before we're done on the day after the fall-in step, I think that's pretty much the footwork drills are going to be done. We're going to show you what we're going to work on next week, so you guys know, and how you can modify some of these drills depending on what level you believe your feet and agility is. So we'll show you some with just sword and shield work, and then we'll show you some with the sword actually strikes. We do add a lot of sword strikes later, and right now we're just trying to do the basics up first. I know the hand patterns.
Okay, good. Cross step don't work.
Exactly.
Yeah, this one's nice. I like this one.
Yep.
The whole thing's going.
Well, that's why the sword, when the sword strike, you have to time the strike and then extend. And you just don't want to do too much of that because you're fast elbow work. Right?
This has no elbow involved whatsoever. That lower leg imaginary shot is 100% shoulder.
Yeah, but the upper one.
Yeah, but it's not even reaching full extension. Okay. It's also slow. Yeah.
Remember, guys, keep working out hard. Get them all in. If you're done, and one of them seemed harder than the other, then go back to it and do another set.
And then we'll move on to the next one in a minute, once he finishes his round here. We're good for what we're doing right now. Good deal.
All right. All right, next one's going to be the fall-in step.
Big ass fall.
All right, so on the last step, I'm on one of the rungs of the ladder that probably, if you look at the overhead, that's actually place. Yeah, showing it pretty good. If you look at the overhead, oops, here's my sword length. I'm going to do this jab step. You notice in the jab step, I'm well down 6 inches in this sword. Okay? If I were to stay on that same point, that same ladder point, the key on this one is you'll see I go up on my toes. You remember that drill I worked earlier where I was pushing this all the way onto my toes, keeping my back perfectly straight and stacked? Okay?
Mhm.
He's going to show you the side shift here. So from the foot cam, you can see this side shift. Here we are, and I'm back. Okay? 50-50. And I'm pushing up. You can see I'm like here. So now my knee and then I catch myself. Now look how close I am to my pedal. I'm basket hilting the guy in the face. Okay? So this is where I am. So you can see the distance change is huge with the fall-in steps. So we're going to do it. I'm going to actually
So
stand.
for reference, this is the one that we were using for the lunge.
So the yellow is the one we use for the lunge. So I'm going to actually move back one whole step here, which is probably about 14 inches. 18 inches. And now, again, I take that knee, I lean, and I'm not even stretching really hard right now, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Your stance cannot be too square, by the way. That foot needs to be behind. Knee. And you notice, again, I can almost hit him with my basket up. And that's 18 inches farther back. So we're going to extend this one more time. Okay. So now I'm going to actually, this is pretty far back. I don't think I can do it. So now I'm about 36 inches farther away than my normal long jab step. And if you look, how many feet is this?
This is 9 feet from Bob's face.
So again, here I am. When you get distance, the longer you want to fall, almost the more your feet will come together in the back. You get more, but here, I'll show it straight at the camera. You notice if I only want to fall a little bit, my feet can be wider, but I don't get as much fall forward. But as I want to fall farther, this back foot gets a little more linear, a little deeper, and it allows me that longer run. So here we are, 9 feet away. I'm going to fall. Again, about halfway on my sword. I'm still ending up too close. All right?
We're going from outside of range to short shooting.
Yeah.
In one step.
So we're going to practice this. We're going to practice it at the range on that shot can change.
Can we have it slower, Branos?
Yep, I can do that slower.
We're going to make them fly through the air like.
Here we go.
This is the
Yeah.
famous Branos
I'm going to get some wire work here. All right, here we go. Here I am. I'm leaning. I'm on my toes. My toes are supporting. I'm balancing on these toes right now. And then this foot reaches out. At that same time that foot reaches out, the actual strike is going to happen. If it doesn't happen then I can come forward and finish my strikes. But in this case, here I am, leaning, ready. Okay, that was a little after my foot landed. It's sword strike and this should be together. We're going to talk about sword striking and their feet together later. But in this case, I'm actually at that essentially 18-inch mark out because I'm throwing the sword from this rung here. And again, you have to watch your back. You notice I was leaning down. See my terrible angle of that sword? If I'm leaning back, you see my angle goes higher above their shield. So here we are. Okay, I'm going to do it once more. Louis following a little bit. Here we are. Okay.
Can you do the lean?
Yep.
Where the middle of your body is? more, a little more. Right there.
All right, there we are.
Show him the big lean right there.
Here we are in this big lean.
Now look at the curve on his back leg between his back, his head, and his back leg. There's this like arc. That's really what you're going for.
Just to show you, I'm moving mine. Yep. See that? I am not this way, guys. This is not stacked. I'm falling forward at this point. My angle of my sword is this lower than their shield edge compared to this. See the difference?
And when he's back here, you see a really nice arc between his heel, his knee, his back of his hips, his back, and his head. It makes this nice big curve.
And you notice my back stays the same all the way as I land and recover my feet. So again, here we are. I'm going to show you the recovery on this. I'm not going to worry about the sword right now. So here we are. We're going to take this long step and recover. Okay, so now we're recovered right here, nice and close, and then we're going to work on both fall off or fall off. So we're going to do both of those. So first one is going to be straight fall, recover straight up at the guy. Make sure. So don't worry about length. Start at the same place you just did your jab step from. Lean onto that front, small step, and then here, bang, bang. Okay? Whoa, sorry.
You can add like intermediate marks and slowly work your way back.
Yeah, so on the floor you can see side foot like 4 marks here. And so here I'm way too close. You notice I'm only stepping about here. You can manage your distance here. I'm going to go back a little so I can get a little farther.
You don't have to work this in
And here I am. Right? Yes. So here I am. And again, I'm perfect. I'm here with my opponent. Okay? Here I am. Here, perfect with my opponent. All right? So let's get 10 of those guys. We're going to do our whatever foot your normal foot forward is, and then we're going to switch them. Uh-huh. Go.
Dude.
If you look at what she's doing, she's just throwing a little half shot at the end. If you want to get used to that, that's fine. Don't fully extend your arms though, please.
Imaginary shots.
We don't want to wreck your elbow, especially after not throwing for a while. Just get that time right. This is all just tension in your body as that foot hits the ground.
The act of extending your arm into a shot helps remember to stay up and not like do this.
Right.
Otherwise, it's really easy to go.
Do we switch feet and fall to the same side or keep the feet?
So right in the next one, go ahead and switch feet and fall straight at your opponent. Yeah. But if you're done with the first one, go ahead and switch feet, fall into your opponent. Good. Make sure you got nice, just like your sword and shield should be. Keep it in the, yeah, make sure you're falling right into your stance. Look at your stance after you're done and make sure that you think it's right. So stop at the end. Good. That's the way. That's what I want to see. You guys looking at your stance at the end. Making sure you're not shoulders down. Don't look. Make sure your head's up at the end there too. Not sure how many people we have on Facebook, but and also the folks doing it with us. If you know others that want to do it, they're more than welcome. Just hit your name in the chat I sent you for the Zoom group, and I can add them to that group. And those on Facebook, if you message me or you put a comment that you'd like to join us next week, I will add you to that group as well. All right. So that was both feet falling directly at your pelv. Now we're going to do the fall and shift to the right. I'm going to let Louis adjusting something here. There we go. Here we are. So here we go. Again. So here's our fall. And then shift to the right. This time we have you can do one of two ways. If you're doing it really slow, you can do it. So here's one way. Here's my fall. Here I go. Fall. Foot comes forward, and then I do a swing foot or a crossover foot in front. Again, turning. You notice I turn my foot to make sure I'm facing the pelv, or facing Bob in our case here, or our opponent. Or you can do that gather step. But again, this comes down to what you feel comfortable with. I suggest, if you want, practice both ways, 5 and 5. But here we go. Lean, fall, gather step. So this time I just shifted my weight and did a shifting, falling, drop step, gather step. So here we go. But I like the gather step, so that's usually what I do. Brings me about to 45, where if I do the swing step, I actually swing almost all the way to the side of them, or 90. And then we're going to do it the other way. Nice. That's about perfect right there, Louis. Because I can see her front knee bend. And then, yeah. Yeah, and the gather step is really nice. Yeah. Nice job, guys out there. That looks great. There's a bunch of people really doing a nice job with this. This is important because you guys are learning actually what the drop step or that really is. That shifting of balance in your body is huge.
I've been on the receiving end of those, so it's good to know.
Yeah, exactly. So on that gather step on the out, you can think about, and Cy will show it in the next one, you can think about that hook wrap to the back of the leg or butt. So there's a strike on the landing of the foot, bang, bang, right? So you end up with 2 strikes in there. The first jab step really actually, you don't even need to throw the throw. The first jabs or that first falling step into your opponent will create tension. They'll bring that sword, they'll blind themselves, and then you're shifting right behind their shield, and they don't know where you went. Exactly. Yeah. What number you on? Okay, one more.
Hey, Bronis.
Yeah.
We're seeing a little bit of a fall, land, and wind up goofy foot, and that's okay, correct?
Oh yeah, you're actually when you're falling in and your goofy foot, when that back foot actually hits the ground is when the first shot comes. And then the front foot, then the trailing foot goes back into your normal stance, and that's where you get your essentially swing foot or your crossover step or your gather step from. So yeah, your first, like go ahead and nope, that's a jab step. So do it again. Yep.
With the back foot forward. It's a regular, like, step like you're walking.
Yeah, like you're walking. So that's the jab step. There we go. Now let it go all the way forward and let your back foot come first. Nope. Do it again. Fox, do it again. So what you guys are doing is, do it again. You guys are doing the jab foot, Fox. I don't know if he's hearing us. Sorry, guys. Yeah, you can see there's the jab foot kind of. That's just a front gathering step. So, Fox. Unmute. All right. So you're doing a 3-second
delay.
Oh no! Oh no!
That one.
Fox. You need to change your feet. Fox. Fox. This foot. Back foot. Here we are. Step. Not. Step.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Like we've done both versions. Right now we're working on the step one.
That's right.
They're both useful things.
Yes, and there's more versions to come.
Just to be clear.
Yeah. So here we are. Step. Bang. Bang.
And Facebook friends, we apologize you can't see the person we're talking to on Zoom, but it's all good. You still get to see the demo. Yeah.
All right. So they fixed that one. We're gonna go ahead and they're gonna practice that a little bit just to get comfortable. The next one is the same thing, but we're gonna go to the other side. You can see, guys, this is pretty simple, right? We're working on the same stuff over and over again, but falling off one side or the other, depending on what you need from your opponent. So here we are. We're leaning. All right, here we are. Ball, bang, bang, swing step or crossover step. That's one way, just like we talked about before. Or here we are, bang, throw. And that foot actually doesn't even need to hit the ground to do a gathering step.
You can just swing right.
Right. So here we are, bang, I hit, and I jump over. It doesn't actually need to touch the ground. You will get more power If it's a little closer, bang, bang. But again, this is not always what you're looking for. So depends on how comfortable you feel with it. I don't tend to touch the ground much with this stuff.
Overhead cam.
Yeah.
All girls can
Wait,
do
there's-
it, and then get the other ones to
Well,
weight in that first foot.
yeah, if you want to throw the cross step, you can start goofy foot. It's not the same step, but
Only thing to do, which will change the next.
And we will do the we're going to switch feet next time. Down. You got the first one looks good.
I don't know what's happening today.
On the fall, that gathering step is, there we go, good. I know, I had the same problem on my first 3 or 4. And I was turning. Really show you some distance change. Also shows you how far she's out.
The amount of frame.
Yeah. Yeah, I see her toe. There it is.
Changed my mind halfway through what footwork I was doing.
Yeah, Roger said he would be joining us next week. He said he wanted to join last week, so it's all good. Hit it again, because you're just going, oh, there you go, you got it. Nice, Bill. Good job.
I'm coming out at about 8 feet away.
I know, it's amazing how far that is, isn't it?
Yeah, I got a little bit of stretch to me too.
All right, if you're done, go ahead and switch your feet and do both sides again.
We're all caught up, Reynolds.
What's that? You
I said
good?
we're all caught up.
Okay, cool. So now we're doing the other foot. Switch your feet. I know switching feet is rough, but that's why we're doing it.
Cold and also sweating.
Ain't that great?
Fun combination.
For later.
Throwing a shot allows me to kind of cheat this way out.
Yeah, a
in front
little
of
bit
me,
over before you.
where I'm not really
Yeah.
in a place to throw it at.
Really, your understanding distances so much better.
Be careful with this one when the ground's wet.
I mean, you're like finding that's okay. Good. Yeah, but you didn't know this before that. Good. All right, now we're doing the other way.
The sound effects of fight practice. Words.
That was terrible. Why do you do that?
I don't know. You tell me.
I've not set the other foot before I've fallen. Wow, I gotta work on these bad.
Well, funny foot is funny.
Damn it.
But I mean, sometimes you want to do that, sometimes you won't want to do that.
Oh, and adding the throw in is screwing me up. If I don't add the throw, I'm good. If I add the throw late, it's good. Wow, it just changes whatever way it wants when it, like that time I did the cross.
So more consistency.
Yeah.
More practice.
That's with the late shot. Late shot. Yeah. And then I switch feet. So in that one, what's happening is I'm here, bang, I get here, regular foot, and then I do that. And I actually follow well.
works better with the shuffle step.
With the shuffle step, yeah.
But if you wanted to do the cross step, then switch your feet.
Then you switch your feet, you don't drag your back one as much, and then you go ahead and do the shuffle. I mean, the cross. Yeah.
Right. So if you're gonna go in and then to the left, if you start goofy foot, you can shuffle. If you start normal foot, you can cross step. And if you're gonna go in and to the right, it's all reverse.
I like doing, my problem is I'm not following all the way to where I should be with my, I'm landing in regular stance and back into funny foot. Yeah, I do this twice, and I'm like, oh, that sucks.
It's really hard to cut into that. If you want to go forward, you're trying to drive your hip well.
Yeah, and there's no push.
Unless you
But then you lose your first shot.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, well, I see people doing it all the time.
Your fighting style that you're creating, absolutely.
Me, that was painful.
elbow above the head, above the shoulders.
We'll go ahead and show some of the modifications we're going to do next week. We'll show you both with sword and shield and the things to look at, and I think that was about it, right?
Well, unless you want to get into moving shot.
That's, yeah, we're going to, so this week we're going to primarily spend most of the work, since we spent a lot of time just on feet. Go ahead and move the bob into the middle again.
Or other things.
Yeah, we'll cover those at a different
Pull
time.
them back a little bit, right?
So, and you guys are more than welcome to do these at your will. I'm going to show you what these are. Next week we'll do more of this. Again, if you don't feel comfortable with your feet, then you don't need the sword and shield. Okay, you have to be comfortable with your feet first. So if this is the first time you did these, I wouldn't suggest sword and shield next. If you feel comfortable with them, go ahead and give it a try. The key in sword and shield, again, I'm not going to tell you where to hold them or anything like that, is get them into your stance. And in this case, here we are, and this is top down, so we're gonna get something a little bit different here so that you can see where the sword and shield is. But the key is, you can see, I'm gonna do drop step first, or I'm gonna do a gathering step first. You can see that sword and shield isn't creating a gap. I don't push and follow and collapse. That sword and shield, anytime I do this, if I'm doing this, if you see the sword popping out, then you're not doing it right. The idea is, look right through that gap. That gap should stay the same. We do that same exercise both ways, of course. Lots of people tend to want to use their shield or whatever side they're going to. They lean a little bit, that gap opens up, and then it closes up. We're trying to take that out of the recipe, right? It should always stay the same. So as you get better at this, we introduce sword and shield into it, just making sure it always stays the same, and that's the key. And then, and this will be in a couple episodes, we add the same thing as we slide and we step, we throw a shot right back into good defense. Right back into good defense. Again, as this foot hits the ground, the shot is coming. Right back into good defense. Always going back to your perfect stance. All right. So what we're working on is always good sword and shield. So we work from feet, the sword and shield, to timing. All of those take a lot of work just so that you can get comfortable with each one of them. And again, we do all of those again with our from gathering step to cross step to the essentially the short gather or the Lomachenko step. We'll do all of those again with sword and shield or with sword and shield and striking. So it depends on how you're feeling, but the key is make sure your feet are good first, because if you try to add too many layers right away, you'll never get it. Okay? So that's what later we'll add to these rotational exercises. Also, we'll add the same long jab steps, pop in, throw, pop out. Okay? As you land on this pop in, spin. Just like a jab. That foot lands on the ground, power into that front foot sword. And then back. And then we'll do those again. Jab step, throw, off to the side. Here, try it again. Here we are. Jab step, throw, off to the side. So we'll add those into the routine as people get more and more comfortable. But I really prefer people, if you do not feel comfortable with the footwork yet, and when I say comfortable, you should be in, your legs need to be bent. You need to feel almost all the movement occurring in your hips and in your center, and your feet need to be turning. And you know that you're getting, that bob is always staying essentially between your feet or where your hips are supposed to be. So in my case, we fight pretty flat on. So here I am. Bob is always staying in that angle. So all of those things are important. If we start cheating because we want to practice sword and shield first, or we want to throw because it's fun, then we may be losing good technique on the first. So I want to show you those things because as I introduce them, it'll make it easier for you guys. But for now, I think that's what we'll do for a session. Later on, we're going to be adding second parts on the session as the first part gets faster. We're still going to run through all this stuff. You guys should be sweating after you're done. Which one do you want? Down? So, you know, the idea is we'll go through these a lot faster, and then we'll burn into, at the end, just like martial art practice, at the end, we'll talk about different things, including some shadowing drills. If you have a partner, some tension, more throwing stuff. You're going to see some of the TikTok steps that I'll show you. So all of a sudden, we have these TikTok steps with throws, right? So we're going to have a lot more throwing. We do that TikTok step with throws where we actually change. Every throw is going to be a little bit different. Bang, offside, right? Bang, body, body, leg, leg, center, right? So that way you start getting some blows in. You'll put targets on your tail so they can make sure that your targeting's good, and we'll add feet with sword throwing as well. But thanks guys for joining us. I hope you had a great time. Go ahead and jump on Zoom. I'd love to hear some conversation about what you guys would like to do too.
All right.
Because so guys, how did you go ahead and unmute?
Hello. Hi.